The world is a busy place, and the 5-day work week can get to be a drag. Games are there to help you escape and relax, and what's more relaxing than a trip to the countryside? Stardew Valley aims to take you, like the player, out of the city life and into a small town named Pelican Town. Now, before I can say anything else about the game, I think it is important to point out that Eric Boromey, the creator of this game, did it all on his own. And while I do think this game isn't perfect, it should be noted as a great game overall, and even more so when you take in all the parts of the game were made by one person, aside from the multiplayer, which producer Chucklefish took care of, so Eric could continue work on the core game. Stardew Valley is heavily inspired by older Harvest Moon games, but it takes things from that game and looks to improve them in all parts. Now, it's been some time since I popped in Harvest Moon, so I can't exactly speak of the similarities and differences, but overall, I believe Stardew Valley to be better than Harvest Moon in all ways, not just the graphics. The story of the game is simple enough. You get an old farm from your now dead grandpa, move into Pelican Town. You basically take hold of the story from there on, choosing what you want to do, who you want to befriend, who you want to talk to, where you want to go. If you want to help out the mega corporation that's trying to muscle their way in, how you want to lay out your farm, what skills you want to focus on leveling, and so on. The gameplay is very casual, and I know that might seem like a bad word, but it's not. Everything you can do in the game is given to you at a nice pace, and there's never a feeling of being rushed into anything. There's a farm to build up, but you can go fishing if you want. There's a mine to go deeper into, or not. The community center is great for people who love collecting in games, as well as the museum to donate rare items to. And there's the people of the town that you can talk to, give gifts to, and learn more about as your relationship with them grows. The combat isn't too hard, attack or a skill based on the weapon type you use. If anything, fishing can be the hardest part of the game, with having to keep the bar on top of the fish that just moves up and down randomly, fast, slow, all over the place. Now, I wanted to talk about Stardew being made by one person because of how the game looks, and how that look works for the game. Eric has worked over years to make the game better and better. This includes how it looks. If you look back to how the first few trailers of the game look next to the game today, it's a big improvement for the most part. I will say little things like how characters like Maru looked better in earlier versions, or some of the animations like the sword swing looked better to me before, but the rest is a big improvement. The look and animation of the game are minimal, but in a good way. Most actions take up about 4 frames from what I could tell, and it works. They feel snappy, from jumping and swinging your axe or pickaxe to hit something, to getting on your tippy toes to water plants with the watering can, or how your shadow shrinks as you run since your character almost skips as they do, or how much your character will wiggle as they're trying to pull back a fish. The whole world is full of little bits of animation. Lily pads will bob in the water, tall plants will move as you run through them, dust kicked up as you run on dirt paths, or trash can lids flying when you look inside. As far as combat goes, it's basic, but that's fine for something that really isn't the main draw of the game. The weapon swings are quick, the enemies move in a way that's easy to tell how they're going to go, but also different enough from each other. There's wind up to certain enemies like the slimes, and others will just fly around like the bugs. The music of the game matches well with the scenes in it. Nothing really stood out for me, but nothing also stuck out as bad. Same goes with the sound effects. I like the little things like your walking being different based on what you're walking on, or the fun popping sound when you pick up items. The town and the people of Stardew, for me, were the high points of the game. If I wanted to make something cool like a big farm with automation, there's games like Factorio to play. But a farm with some dungeons and people to talk to that have their own lives to live, it's all Stardew for me. You have 12 romantic options with a number of events for each one of those options on top of 21 more townsfolk that you can also give gifts to and have some smaller interactions with, but they're still there. They all have their own schedule that they do at set times. They aren't just sitting around waiting for the hero of the story to come talk to them like other NPCs. And this helps to give them a lot of personality. If you get to certain breakpoints in your relationship score, you will trigger an event just for them. And there's a number of them, ranging from just one for the really minor characters all the way to 7 or so. There are also the festivals that happen to give the player even more interactions with the people of the town. There's just something charming about Stardew Valley, from its colorful characters and zones, to the enemies you fight, to its happy music, and more. If you're stuck at home, like some of us are now, and you need an escape for a little bit, this might be one of the best games you can get your hands on for the price.